Feeling stressed or overwhelmed by life? Hello and welcome to another edition of Shine 365, where our job is to help you lead a better life. In today's episode, we'll talk about anxiety when you feel overwhelmed by everything in life and you just don't know what to do. Together, we're going to get through this. Today, we'll be discussing what I do when I'm feeling burnt out, according to 7 Therapists by Jeremy Brown. The world is a high-pressure place. We all know that, and especially for parents. Parents who are balancing work, parenting, financial worries, extended family care, and other issues. The risk of burnout is high. And if you don't recognize the signs and you don't take active steps to mitigate your stress, it's only a matter of time before it can overwhelm you, leading you to feel both physically and emotionally drained. And at that point, you'll be headed backwards. You can get through this. Let's explore the ways. What do the experts do? What do the people that give you advice actually do? We asked 8 therapists to fill us in, and here's what they said. I plan things to look forward to. I have things that I look forward to each day. This helps me refuel my well-being tank. They are usually small-scale items like watching Wicked Tuna on Disney, or when my daughter goes to bed, having a nice dinner for my family. Anytime my husband cooks, I know it's going to be amazing. Small things to look forward to. I plan my day around small things to look forward to as well, and I'm not a therapist, but it helps me. If I don't feel like doing a podcast today, what am I going to do? I'm going to do one anyway. You know why? Because I know that after this podcast, I'm going to work on my book, and I enjoy writing my book. I enjoy that. I also enjoy, after that, watching a good movie on TV. I look forward to that. I plan that as part of my day. I like to sit back sometimes and watch a goofy show to take me out of a stressful mindset and refuel my body. Another thing that specialists do, I write my emotions down. And this is by an emotional health consultant. I get a pen and a paper and write down any negative or unwanted emotions that I'm feeling. Once it's on paper, I can then be disconnected from those thoughts, which means I can look at it objectively and rationally. Take out a notebook, a piece of paper, and get a pen and just write it down. Write it down. Write it out. Get it from inside your brain onto the paper. Put it somewhere. Get it out of your head. You can revisit it later. Concentrate on the present. That is what matters most right now. You can come up with ideas for the future, but the future isn't here yet. You need to work on the present. I work to close my stress cycle. Well, what does that mean? This is by Jessica Small, licensed marriage and family therapist. What does it mean to close your stress cycle? Well, it means your natural tendency to respond to stress, and then you do the opposite. Ironically, we tend to respond to stress in ways that are the least helpful to us. For example, if you're a person that naturally withdraws and isolates when stressed, make an effort to connect with others. Do the opposite thing you're feeling. Sometimes we need to just let it out. And that's all we need. We've been keeping it in so much just to let it out. And you don't even have to let it out in front of someone else. You can let it out in a room by yourself. But you have to let out those emotions that are forming and affecting you. Amelia Alvin, a psychiatrist, she says, I take breaks. Take a break. It's as simple as that. The human mind is way more efficient than robots and computers, but it still needs a reset. Just like your computer needs a reset sometimes. You know, if you're working on something, especially if you're editing something like a podcast and your computer overheats and things stop working, and you find that you're spending so much time and nothing's getting done, well, that can happen to you as well. It's time to do a reset, a mental reset. Take a break. 5, 10 minutes, half an hour, whatever it takes to reset your mind and get you back to where you want to be. We all need breaks, and you can't use the excuse that if I take a break, then I'll never get anything done. No, you'll be twice as productive after you take that break. Exhaustion can break down your cells and your brain will be shut off. To take safety measures, relax. Go on a vacation. Sometimes you need a real reboot, a multiple day reboot, maybe a multiple week reboot, maybe a multiple week reboot. I recently read about Bill Gates. Now, everybody has different feelings about Bill Gates, but I did read that every year he does a reboot where he goes off by himself, he goes off to a retreat area, and he reads books and he reboots his mind and his self. And this helps bring him into the new year. So maybe it's time for a reboot. Just take a break. Let's see what Dr. Nicole says. She says, I have different coping skills at the ready. Professionally, I encourage my patients to try one or two new coping skills for a few weeks and see how they work, because obviously everyone is different. Find a few coping skills that work for you. Remember, not all coping skills work the same. For instance, some people love working out. Working out is a coping skill for me. And it seems crazy that I would have to force myself to find time to work out, which fixes my body, but I do. And working out can be walking. It's as simple as that. I've covered this before. Walking is a simple way to exercise and to help you cope. You are a small part of a big universe, but you are an important part of that. I turn down the volume on self-judgment. You can't always be so hard on yourself. Perhaps the most persistent coping skill for me is turning down the volume on self-judgment from my external limitations, and I'm getting where I feel I should be. Some would say this is giving up, but it's not. It's being selective and distinguishing what's important. Being able to distinguish the values that require energy is a strength. I tell my wife that all the time. I say, honey, you can't do it all. You're not expected to do it all. You can do a lot. You work very hard, but you can burn yourself out. We all can burn ourselves out. It's incredible to me that at one moment, I can feel so overwhelmed and have so much anxiety that I can't even think straight. But yet 30 minutes later, I can be in a great place. My headspace can be fine, and I'm happy, I'm productive, and I'm doing it. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes when you're feeling overwhelmed and so anxious, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. You can get through this, and it gets easier as you move towards that light. I acknowledge the feeling and refrain from powering through. If you're feeling burned out, first and foremost, you need to acknowledge it. Because if you keep trying to just power through and ignore your symptoms, most of the time things are only going to get worse. So what you need to do is clear out your schedule, if only for a day, and get a refresh. And this is by Dr. Lauren Cook, who is a therapist. Time for the refresh. It can be 30 minutes, it can be an hour, it can be a day, it can be a week. I really hope that some of the information from these therapists hit a nerve with you. I hope it made you think, and I hope it helped you. If we're helping everybody move up, then we're all going to move up together, and things are going to get better together, because that's how we live our life. I hope you like and subscribe, and we'll continue to go down this road together, sharing things and comments and quotes and moving forward in our lives. Don't let anxiety overwhelm you. You can get through it. We all can get through it, and we can get on to a better life. We'll see you next time on Shine 365.